This is IBM Museum. On this video, I wanted to show an external accessory for the IBM PS2 model CL57SX. That's that portable laptop, color laptop in this case, for CL57SX that IBM released. I think it was 1992, 93, somewhere in there for the release of this system. And I don't know where I picked up this pack, although it is, I do have the original box, a little tattered. I don't have any booklets or anything else that went with it. And of course, for this vintage of machine from IBM, that time frame, it would have been NiCad, would have been the chemical composition of the batteries. And of course, the NiCads, that was what the technology they had at the time. But it does go through and retain a charge memory. If you don't, if you incompletely charge it, a variety of times, and then of course over the years, it's gonna effectively wear out. Now, I do have the CL57SX is powered off right now. I do have the wall transformer plugged into the back of it, that big plug with separate voltages. I think there's like a 17 volt and a 20 volt or 19 volt power source on the back. And I don't know if that, just a portion of that, is designed to charge the batteries when the unit is even powered off. But that's the indicators that we see here. On the left, of course, is the battery pack 1. On the right is the battery pack 2. There would be further indicators that the machine were powered up, even though I have the lid closed, so that would be a suspend condition for the system. But those indicator lights are visible when the cover is closed through that. Now, there's not really any other indication as far as the battery level other than that charge indicator, really. Pretty basic of design. And as I mentioned before, and what I can do is I can start going through and I'll unplug the wall transformer itself just to conserve things. I don't want to have these older electronics plugged in, of course, for any length of time or overnight or whenever I'm away from the system. Who knows? Those things could have something happen to them. And I did mention on the CL57, and this kind of shows what I've noticed for these machines, on the underside of this, that the material that IBM uses as a coating now has a little bit of a tackiness to it. It goes through to where, I mean, you could view it as a non-slip. I mean, it's a nice coating that it wouldn't slip by your hands, especially this big old heavy thing. But it does pick up the dust and things like that, even for this my unclean bench. And I've tried to go through and things like water to kind of wash things down. Now, the battery packs themselves don't have the coating. I mean, they should clean up better, although I do see a lot of dust that those picked up as well. And the CL57SX has the two separate battery that can be put on it. And if I can run the latch the right way, it has a latch Okay, that latch is going to go better for me. And that's the authentic, IBM battery. 2 connections on one side and that single connection on the other side. It has all the warnings in the different languages, and gives the rating of the battery. And this is the second battery compartment here. And do not open, throw in fire or short circuit. And it says nominal 12 volt, 1.5 amp hour. Oh, this is nickel metal hydroxide for this one. And I may have, in fact, let me do a pause, because I may have some NiCad batteries for this as well. I've got and I want to read off the different FRUs to find these, what these are out there. If there's any, that FRU can help searching on the web. So interesting. All the 4 batteries that I have are the same nickel metal hydroxide. And this is part number 07G1418. The FRU part number is 07G1413. And says made in Japan. Even has a date code stamped on here. I've got 9205 on this particular battery pack. And it was even interesting in the interim, and I didn't think I had a booklet for it, but that thing is as dirty of cover. I can't even guess what this crud is on it. These stains on the cover. And I need to go through and scan this, but so this is the Personal System 2 model CL57SX external rechargeable power pack II, and I have the operation guide. And I'll even have to see if it had and first edition of February of 1992. And it's got warranty information. Okay, and this is even the information I was looking for, because I wasn't sure for the size of this pack of what it says is fully charged battery, operation time up to 1 hour and 45 minutes. And of course, the fully charged battery operation time for the CL57SX depends on the application and configuration. Charge time is 4 hours, and it even gives the dimensions and things like that. Oh, and I was even estimating the cable length, and I'll show that in a moment. And there's the components of it. And of course, I've already put the strap on mine. And so this unit, and there's bound to be another very similar for the N51SX and N51 SLC, and I'll show you why that is in a moment. So this is the what did they identify this as? The power pack connector. Okay. And so what this is just a hollow assembly. It's rather light, and it has this connector in there. And it's a 3-pin connector, almost like the size of the later ThinkPad power connections. But that just goes in one of the battery slots of the CL57. And when it's not being used, there's actually a storage on the lid where you just push it in there and it slides in that little slot. It doesn't, it doesn't have anything, any electrical connections or anything like that, of course. And then, so let's look on the back of this. And so the part number of this Power Pack 2, and it's nominal 12 volts, 4.6 amp hours. And this is NiCad batteries for it. Even though the other batteries of the, are that nickel metal hydroxide, really, I mean, probably a better technology. Nickel metal hydroxide goes through and the power will drain over time on the batteries. If you just have you charge the batteries and leave them set, it's gonna drain over time with just them sitting there, not being used. And this is part number 34G9850, FRU part number 34G9869. Okay, and you notice the cord. We can go through and open this up, and this cord just stores coiled around this little spindle. You can go through to, store the cable in there, put the adapter on the lid, and carry this thing around by the handle. And they say in the manual it's a little bit less than 5 foot cable. I was estimating at about 4, that you can completely unspool this power cable. Now, the one question I had initially when I saw this device again, I thought, wow, wouldn't that be something if it goes through and has a connection on it to charge from a wall transformer, where you can charge it separately and then take it along on your trip or whatever when you had your CL57, and it doesn't. It just has that cable on the spool inside. So you have to have a machine and, of course, your adapter that you have plugged in the machine, and you have the machine plugged in to go through and charge this pack, just like any battery that were on the system. And I know there were accessories sold that IBM had that you could go through and charge the battery packs separately from the unit, and maybe something like that would work, to charge this pack. But that's what I have for this unit. That's the way that I have to charge it. I don't have anything else that basically goes through and charges these CL57SX batteries. And I don't think these are shared with any of the other units. So it was a little bit unique. And it is interesting that I do have, for all that, and the booklet and box, apparently that's with the, this was set up for the CL57 as that insert for the module adapter that you slide in the cover. But I do also have this adapter for the N51SX and N51SLC models. And they had a different shaped battery. I'll have to go through and and find out, you know, on their batteries if they're nickel metal hydroxide or NiCads or a mix of both. And so even though we're really quite not covering the N51SX and N51SLC, and that's a smaller notebook system than the CL57, but the part number is 34G9878, and the FRU part number 07G1541. And it doesn't really mark that it's on there. It's for the N51, but it's the same application. And I assume the module that was designed, this external power pack for the N51 and SX and N51 SLC, had a little insert where you could put this adapter. But you know, it's just kind of one of those different sorts of devices that I have stored away. And you know, I'll have to observe the kind of the NiCad thing and make sure that I charge it up to that full capacity, and don't unplug it mid charge cycle or anything like that. But just something else that I can go through additional with the other batteries that I have for the CL57. And that's why I was commenting on a previous video, is that's kind of one of the unique things of two separate battery compartments, that even this bigger device could be used. You can go through and swap one battery out as you have the other in place, and maybe even operating from it, to go through and be able to run the system without being, you know, connected to a wall outlet. You're strictly going through and just switching batteries out as long as those batteries are charged and able to still keep operating. I wouldn't expect the life of some of these batteries is very much now, but I you know, could go through and check them to make sure that all four that I have do work with this. So that is just showing, leaving my fingerprints all over that tacky coating that these CL57s just seem to have. And I'll have to check the N51 systems when I get working with them and kind of showing them on video, and see if it's the same sort of coating that is on them as the CL57. I don't know why. I don't remember this coating of this type being on the layer ThinkPads or anything like that, but that's just one of the things. It just seems like it's I don't know, it's gone through, and the purpose that IBM used to put on there, I don't know if it's gone more tacky since, or just intended as that non-slip coating that you could have a good grab on the laptop when you're transporting it around. But that's the unusual content for this video. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and click on that like button. You know, by all means, subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I'm looking for more subscribers, coming up to the point about 250 subscribers. And I'd sure like a lot more than that. I'd like to get at least above the 1,000 level, so I can go through and make YouTube announcements and things like that of what videos might be coming up. But that is all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.